Hi, guys. Welcome to Weekly Travel Updates. I'm Melinda Vargas, and I own Action Travel here in Burlington, North Carolina. And on a weekly basis, I come to you with what's exciting, what's the latest, and sometimes not so great, like this week. We had the very first U.S. MIDAIR collision in 16 years, and all souls were lost in the Potomac River. I'm sure you've seen lots about it on the news, but I'll go into some things that I learned that you might not know about. Second thing is I'm going to tell you about some February deals that are especially for couples, and they're good through the end of February. Some things I think you'll be really excited about. Number 3 are just some travel deals. Did you know that the volcano in our Hawaiian Islands, Kilauea, has erupted blast this week? And it's been erupting since December 24th, continuously. This week was a real big one. Then, did you read where New Zealand gave a mountain that indigenous people there feel is sacred? They gave it personhood, a legal identity. Tell you more. And have you seen the latest and greatest tour in London? They are using World War II tunnels, and it looks phenomenal. It looks like a ton of work, but I was just amazed at what is lying underneath London. I think that we'd find that underneath many big cities if we really knew the story. Then 2 ships this week had Norovirus, and one of them, it's the second week in a row, even after a major cleaning. Tell you more. And at the end, I'm going to tell you about what our 2026 holds for Action Travel and our little group. We loved our 11-day cruise so much in January. This year, we're going back next year. We left this year January 2nd, and we went Southern Caribbean. Next year on January 3rd, we're going to do Eastern Caribbean. Guys, it was the most perfect size ship. I couldn't say enough good about it. Everything was good. There were about 3,000 people, so it's not a mega ship, but it's the Celebrity Celebrity Eclipse. And I told the maitre d' as we got off, I said, I tell you, over 45 years, I've been a travel agent, and I cannot tell you of a ship that I've been on that had more consistently good, great food. And I sent in a note to that fact as well, because, when there's good that can be said, we ought to do that. Okay. Thanks for joining tonight. There's several great things to talk about, but first I got to tell you about this crash. It was a 34-year-old pilot who was flying the American Airlines flight 5342. He was Jonathan Kapos, and he was the Blue Streak commander that was on board, co-piloted by Samuel Lilly, who was a 28-year-old pilot. It's a very tricky runway, and what I found interesting was to find out that Reagan National is one of the busiest airports in our whole nation. I was not aware. When I take people, and we have a long layover in Los Angeles, I take them to a vantage point where we can see like at least every 45 seconds, there's a plane taking off or coming in to Los Angeles. Well, Reagan National is much the same. Within 1 minute of each other, there are planes landing or taking off. I just had no idea that that airport was that busy. And then very near the airport, right along the Potomac, is a military helicopter staging landing area. And why these paths have opportunity to cross, I don't know that anybody will ever know. But I think now that they'll make some changes because they did cross. And obviously, there's some reasons. I'll give you some possibilities of how it could have happened. But it's an airport that governors, senators' aides, congressmen's aides, they use this airport in and out of Washington frequently. And I that makes perfect good sense. I just never put the two together. So after the plane crossed over the Woodruw Bridge, the helicopter was low and fast. It was night. And even using her night goggles, the pilot on the Black Hawk was a female with about 500 hours, which is not very much. And man, it's so unfortunate that many will suffer. And, everybody's looking for answers. So, but this pilot was about 500 hours. She was a PIC female. She was, along with a warrant officer, Andrew Eves, who was 39. I didn't see the age of the pilot of the Black Hawk. But it's a high-profile airport because of there being so much air traffic. One analysis was that possibly with the night goggles on, and because if you look out the front of this Nighthawk, it looks much like an airplane, and they fear that the apparatus that closed in the windows may have blocked the view. And there was another Canadian regional American flight that was in line. And what they fear is that this young pilot saw the next flight coming and did not even see the flight that she collided with. Anyway, the helicopter pilot and the tower were speaking, and the tower asked the helicopter pilot, if they had visual, if they could see the plane. And they said yes. However, at that point, the plane was still 5 miles away. So it's very possible that the pilot saw something else, assuming that was the American flight 5342. Anyway, it's a very, very sad day. It's I did not realize it had been 16 years. There are a lot of people, because in that same evening, then another plane crashed in Philadelphia, a medical plane, and it had 6 souls on board, and it crashed shortly after takeoff. A lot of people have asked, is flying safe? Well, it is still 12 times safer than being in an automobile. Take that for what it's worth. I will say, with the additional turbulence, the El Nino that we're experiencing this winter, there has been more turbulence. I don't think that affected this crash, but just in general, if you're flying. Okay, let's go to Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, Viking Cruise Line is offering $200 to you if you book a Viking River cruise or a Viking Ocean cruise in the month of February. There are several departures that have free or reduced airfare. Reduced being, I priced one for somebody Friday and the airfare was $499 with a 1 week sailing, where if she took a 11-day sailing, the air was free. Price was a little bit more. Anyway, reach out to me if Viking has been on your radar. And I learned something new this week. I've been and seen Viking River cruises, but I was not aware, or if I did, I forgot it. I wasn't aware that Viking Ocean has no kids and no casinos. For some people, that's going to be right down your alley. Some people who watch this, you know who you are. Reach out to me because that's a pretty good deal. Plus, they have extra bonuses going on. This happens to be something that we can add on to anything else you have going. It's an additional $200 worth of onboard credit for you. And then Delta Vacations has said, go somewhere, travel with us. We'll give you $150 off any air and land package, meaning fly to Boston, spend 3 nights, get a discount on your air and your hotel, or Las Vegas, or to Denver skiing, or wherever you want to go, to Miami. There's lots of opportunities, and air prices are down just a little bit right now. They're down from when I priced it when I first got home, the middle of January. So if there's something you've been looking at, I would suggest or encourage you to go look at it again. Okay, next, let me tell you just some weird things that have gone on this week. So first, I did not know. I watched our Hawaiian volcano, and it made explosive bursts this week. What I was surprised about is it has been erupting weekly since December 24th of 24. That's a fairly long time. That's like what the volcanoes in Iceland have been doing. I thought that was really interesting. Then a sacred mountain has been given personhood in New Zealand. This isn't the first time. Last year, a river was given personhood with all the rights as if that was a living, breathing person. And then a national park was also given personhood. See, this mountain that they have now given personhood to as of this past week, it's Mount it's Taranaki. Okay, this got to be close. Anyway, the indigenous people there believe that this mountain is alive, just like they believe that river is alive. And the government of New Zealand has granted legal personhood to that, meaning if you damage something there, they will prosecute you as if you did it to a person instead of a National Park. It has a lot of implications, but one of the things that it does is it will keep development from going on there. And that was really one of the major reasons that they went after this. Then I saw the coolest video. I'm part of a weekly training, and we see and meet a lot of individual tour guides. And this guy happened to be in London, and he showed us the coolest new tourism item for 2025. And that is tours underground to the tunnels of World War II. Isn't that amazing? And you should see. Now, what he has are pictures from having been down, and it looks like something off of Star Trek, really. It's got rock walls, but then glass or plexiglass between the rock walls and this interior corridor. And they're running tours through it now. You've often heard, have you seen what is below Washington, D.C. or New York City? Well, these World War II tunnels are turning back into something that is functional and usable, and they're making money on it. That sounds exciting to me. Next time I go to London, I will be sure that I do that tour. I want to see it firsthand. Before I go, remember, if you're going in the UK this year, they have a new ETA, Electronic Travel Authorization. And if you're going through London further into Europe, the EITA, the European Information Travel Authorization, is going to be an additional visa that you need. Most tour companies will provide you with the information to get it. If you don't have a good travel agent, reach out to me. I will help you walk through those processes. You can do it online. The UK visa is running about 12 euros, and the EITA for the rest of Europe is running about 7 euros. So the last thing I want to tell you about are our 2 groups for next year. We just got off of this 11-day trip through the Southern Caribbean, and boy, was it fabulous. Best food, great ship, no riffraff, great weather. So we're going back. And next year, we're doing Eastern Caribbean on the same ship, the Celebrity Eclipse, and we'll sail from Fort Lauderdale to St. Kitts and to Antigua and to the Dominican Republic. And we'll have a day at sea as soon as we get on board. Can you imagine, right after the holidays? I told my roommate on this January, I said, man, isn't this the epitome of vacationing? After all the hustle and bustle and stress of the holidays, just to be sitting out here in the sun. So we plan on doing it again next year. And the best news is that you compare this to going and spending a week at the beach. Our group rate to do an ocean view cabin with everything included, meals, drinks, Wi-Fi, room service, we are $3,806 for 2 people. But the best deal is you can get a balcony for $3,904. And if you don't need the drinks, you don't need the Wi-Fi, it's a significant savings. About $300 a person, because we still pay the gratuities on the beverage plan and the specialty dining. So the next sailing will be February 24th of 2026, and it's on the Norwegian Sun. Now, This will sail Asia, and it's going to depart from Taipei, Taiwan. It is going to jump all over the Philippines. It will end all the way north in Singapore. And man, I'm excited. I hope that we have enough people go that I get to go too. I'm definitely going in January. February, well, that just depends on how many people we go. We have joining our group. But the airfare and all-in price on Norwegian, again, all in, all meals, all drinks, Wi-Fi, specialty dining, even the gratuities, it is just over 12,000 for 2 people. 14 days, Asia, airfare, Norwegian sun. Come check it out. If you have interest, it is a fabulous deal to see Asia. All right, guys, thanks for checking me out this week. And if you hear somebody who has a travel story, I am going to write some individual pieces this year. I want to hear from them. If you know of somebody who's had their baggage or a baggage issue recently, if you weren't with us a couple weeks ago, I talked about a TSA agent who was caught red-handed stealing. Like, as they handed that bowl of jewelry back to the consumer, back to the traveler, he kind of swiped 2 rings. And when you're leaving the TSA area, if you're like me, I'm a grab and go. I just want to get my stuff and get out of the way and go on to my gate. This person did not realize it, but their security cam caught it. And immediately he was fired. And probably 2 months ago, I was talking about how travel thefts have increased by 900%. And one line item from a West Coast TSA office said that 18% of TSA officers are charged with theft within the first 3 years. Now, that's a hard statistic. So just don't check imported stuff. Keep it in your personal bag where you have eyes on it the whole time. All right, guys. I'm Melinda Fargus, Action Travel. We deliver the world to you, one person at a time. Thanks so much for joining tonight. Ciao.